All right. Okay, everyone. So I know a lot of you are listening to the recording of this. Like I was saying in our group, this is how summer will be. And, I hesitate to do things like this in the summer because I know how hard it is. But then in my mind, that just says how much more important it is to do things like this in the summer, because we need that extra little bit. Because I want you to think about, where will your business be if you aren't learning, if you aren't training, if you aren't holding yourself accountable for where you want? Where will your business be in September? Right? So if we are doing this throughout the summer, no matter how much it hurts, right? That's kind of a good word for it. How hard it is to prioritize something like this. It will really make a difference in the long run. I know so many of us are just so busy. So our next call is scheduled for Independence Day, which is not going to happen for any of us. So let's talk about that a little bit. And it would be really helpful for me if we did it on the 5th. That's a Tuesday. So I will see who agrees to that. How does that look for you guys? I don't know what your schedule is. Maybe I won't even have you say here. I know how busy that week is. Actually, I don't even know if the 5th is good for me. Let me think about that. Maybe we can think about that and talk about that in the group a little bit. And maybe our next call will be July 18th. So just pencil July 18th in, and maybe we can do something a little bit different. I've got something that's kind of swirling around in my head right now. Maybe we'll do something a little bit different on that off week. And we will have a different sort of challenge for us to participate in. Okay, so I'm going to kind of table that, but let's for sure plan on Monday, July 18th at 8:00. That's almost a whole month away. So if you're on vacation and all those things, I completely understand. But if that's something that you can put on your calendar, that would be awesome. Okay. So we are going to, and then let's just go to, while we're talking about it, let's just go quick to August. And that would put us at the 1st and the 15th of August. If you guys can believe that, we're already talking about August.
That works for me.
Doesn't that just feel like sick that we're talking about July and August?
It feels like July and August right now, the temperature.
Ugh.
I know,
Yeah.
it's gross, isn't it? It's just like, bleh. I know I have like no makeup on. We had a pool day. It was just like, oh my gosh.
Jessica, are you in Minnesota?
Yes, we're in Preston, which is south of Rochester. So we're like less than a half an hour north of Iowa. So we're like as far south as you can get.
Right.
But we're moving to Ohio. So
Oh, that's a
we
big
moved.
jump.
Yeah, we moved here from Ohio 7 years ago, and my husband is from Minnesota and I'm from Indiana. So when we're moving, we're going to be about 2 hours away from my parents, and right now we're 9. So it's just been really hard to be away from them, and they've been in and out of the hospital. So
yeah,
it's time to go back.
All right, so we're gonna touch a little bit on so we're gonna walk through that with Jessica. What's your move date, Jessica?
That's a good question.
Oh, okay.
We're looking at the end of July. We don't have like an exact date, but the last week of July.
So we're gonna follow along with Jessica and really support her and watch this happen, because these are things that they're huge events, right? But there are things that our teams go through. People move, people change jobs. what do they say? People's lives completely change every 6 months or something like that. And so, you know, coming alongside people when they do that is really important for us, because people have a lot of feelings that go around these things, right? Of course, Jessica and I have
Right.
talked so much about all of the feelings that go with this. And yeah, you know, I think we need to really practice our relationships. And these are great examples or great ways that we can practice relationships. We're actually going to talk a little bit about relationships today. We are going to, I want to quickly kind of close talking about who the runners and sleepers are. And so we established a lot of times who our runners are and who our sleepers are, and maybe there are no runners, right? We know for sure there are sleepers, but maybe there are no runners. And then, you know, how do we find the runners? How do we find people that are interested in the business? And does anyone have anything to say like about that? You know, Jessica, do you have anything about that? I know you've done a lot of recruiting. And so what tells you that someone's a runner, right?
Yeah, I wasn't able to attend the last meeting, but I listened to it, and I kind of re-listened to it today again. But like, I would definitely say Nancy is probably my biggest runner. And the reason I think that is because she asks me lots of questions. She's contacting me wanting to know things. Like Bethany does some, but like the other girls don't very much. And it shows in their PV too. So I think that kind of goes along with what you said about when you don't hear from people for a while, then you're kind of like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's important for me to encourage her to do that, because she feels like she's bothering me, or she's like, what am I going to do with you moving? And I'm like, you moved first. So like, that doesn't, most of the people on my team, I don't see.
Yeah.
You know, she was really the only one that I saw weekly before she moved, and now we're moving too. So just to try and keep encouraging, like, yeah, keep messaging me questions, because that's what we were mostly doing anyway. Like, just because I'm moving doesn't mean that has to change.
Mm-hmm. And I love how you said that, because, you know, when I started, I enrolled with Barb, you guys know that. And she was always like, you only need to know what you need to know at the moment. And then when you need to know something else, you just ask me, you just let me know. And I'm going to either find the answer to the question, or we're going to find it together, or I'm going to have the answer, you know? So, yeah, I mean, I think I love the encouraging people to ask questions. And, yeah, you know, we have so much at our fingertips right now that it's actually almost too much, right? It's too much information that we have. I was sitting with one of my personal enrolled todays. She lives just 10 minutes from me. She lives in Monticello. And she was watching me schedule posts, because she didn't know how to schedule posts, didn't know how to do Facebook, didn't know how to do anything like that. And I would really encourage you, if you haven't ever met with a team member, like in person, that is so vital. Or if you have someone that has said to you, well, I just don't have the time. I just don't have the time. So I sat with her and I scheduled all of my this or that posts. So I do my this or that posts, like every couple hours, I'll do a this or that, you know, just a one picture. And what do you think? This or that. And so so right now I'm doing 6 of those between 4:00 today and about 10 o'clock tomorrow, because they launch at 10:30. And so I have 6 of those. And what I said on there was, I did like post 1 of 6, post 2 of 6. And I'm going to pick a winner from one of these posts. So make sure you find them all, because you don't know which one's going to be the one that I'm choosing the winner on. And so I did that, and I copied and pasted and just changed, like, you know, post 2 of 6, post 3 of 6. And you know what she said to me in the middle of that? She said, oh my gosh, I see your post. And I think she must have a lot of time on her hands that she does these posts. And I'm watching you right now, and you're like doing this so fast. But guess what? Their mind thinks something completely different than what is actually happening. So if you have ever had someone say to you, well, I just don't have the time, it's because they see what you do and they imagine how much time that would take you. They have no idea. And so then she was kind of not really sure about how to post like and find graphics and stuff because she's pretty new. So I was showing her and she was like, you mean you never make graphics? And I was like, well, I wouldn't say never. I never make graphics with thumbnails. I don't. They're already there. And she was like, you're kidding me. But see, we know what we know.
Right.
They don't know. They don't know this. So I think helping people realize all of the tools that they have, and really there's so many tools that they're just overwhelmed, right? They're just so overwhelmed. So
I'll be honest, I have never scheduled any of my posts. I know I'm like your girl. I guess I've never looked into it. I've never tried. I've never tried to find it even. So that's on my to-do list. I'm gonna learn that.
If you need to schedule something, let's do it. Because really, it's a game saver for me because, I'm going to be gone tomorrow. I'm driving to Duluth tomorrow, and then I'm driving home from Duluth tomorrow. And I only have this much time. You guys look at me and you go, oh my gosh, she just has so much time. I don't. And I don't want to spend 50 hours doing this. I really like it. And I love talking with you guys. And I love training. I love coaching. I love talking on the phone. But I don't want to do this for 50 hours of the day. I also want to have days where I go to the pool. I also want to go garage selling. I love shopping. Like I want to do other things. And that's what life is, right? So if I didn't schedule my posts, I wouldn't have any posts because I never find time. Okay.
Yeah, I do have days where I'm inactive all day, and then it's 10 o'clock at night and I'm sitting down, I'm like firing off like 3 or 4 different posts before I go to bed. And then I have no activity because nobody's paying attention at that time.
Yeah. I will tell you this. I learned this, or I heard this from someone, and I'm sure it's true. Missing one day of posting in your group takes at least 4 days to get back.
Ugh, yeah.
Of you posting like you normally would, a couple times a day or whatever. So let's talk about that for a second, because I don't know if you guys know this, and maybe you do, but your posts in the morning, if you have posts in the morning, it would be something that they would just like there's no like big long comment that's happening in the morning because they don't have the time. So they could maybe choose something like a this or that, but they're not going to do a ton of commenting. Your noontime post, if you do a noontime post, they might have a couple minutes. So they might have like a this or that or something, but a lot of times people are checking in quick in the morning, scrolling. They're scrolling quick at their lunch break. And then at night they have more time. So if you want them to like give you an answer about something or like interact with a game or something, those probably happen more in the evening, but
okay.
I always think like before they get up. So I a lot of times do my post like at 6 a.m. or before my first post of the day, before they get up, lunchtime, and then like after they put the kids to bed. That's what I always think of. And I'm not the end all be all on that, but yeah.
So do you do 3 to 4 a day? Would you say?
No, not necessarily. If I do, I for sure try to do at least one post a day, but sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 6, and I just don't even think about it. The best thing that I do when I need engagement to come back is I do a giveaway, and then I'll message people and be like, hey, just so you know, I'm doing a this or that giveaway. I'd love to have you be part of it. Just wanted to make sure you didn't miss out. And that's my way of like getting back in my messenger also. So there's always ways to get it back. You don't need to worry about not. So
I was just watching, it was a YouTube training. It wasn't one on our Facebook page, but it was Kelly France and Krista. I can't remember, but they were talking about Facebook, and something that I didn't realize is they said for algorithms, keep your algorithms up. People need to respond with words. So like if they respond with an emoji, it doesn't get your algorithms up as much as if they speak a word.
okay.
So I thought that if they do emojis, that got it up more, but they were saying no, it didn't.
Mm.
Interesting.
So it's
I
almost
wonder
like
if
you have to
like a
pose a
GIF is the same
question.
then.
Yeah, they talked
Oh.
about that. But I think they said it's better if you have them type words and if you type words. So if you just have a picture that has a question, you still should type something at the top that says this or that or whatever.
Yeah,
And that helps the algorithm stay up.
cool. And realistically, you could do a this or that almost every day if you really wanted to. It just is one
Right.
thing. Like, or would you, which nails should I put with my outfit? Should I put a pink or should I put a purple? And also people respond more to faces. They respond more to people. So if it's a picture of your kid, it's a picture of you. They slow their scroll for a person. So make sure that you're putting your face in there as well. So as we're talking about runners and sleepers, I want to make sure that you are aware that the like how people are moving through our company is like in thirds. And so the thirds goes, thirds are like kind of really our statistics for a lot of different things. So one saying is 1/3 get it, 1/3 get by, and 1/3 don't get it. Okay. So Jessica, you were just talking about that, how you don't hear from some. Okay. You're not hearing from some because they get it, right? They're getting it. Some of them you're not hearing from because they're just getting by. And that's why I think it's so important to be an investigator in our business, because just because someone is getting sales does not mean, or let me put that a different way. Just because someone is getting PV does not mean that they are getting sales. So I love to talk to somebody and be like, hey, Andrea, I noticed you have 1,000 in PV right now. What have you been doing? What's going on? What's going well? And they might say, oh my gosh, I'm actually I bought for a vendor event and no one showed up to the vendor event. So now I'm stuck with all this inventory. Now what do I do? Well, if you hadn't reached out and said, oh my gosh, you have 1,000 in PV. What have you been up to? What's going on? Inspire me, right? I love that. Inspire me. If you're not saying that, then you would think they're doing great, right? They're not. By what I just
Right.
said, they have like 100 strips that they just bought that they now need to dump, right? So now
Right.
what are they going to do? So then it's like, what are your strategies? So you're going to do like a big sale? Are you going to do try to get another vendor event? Are you going to do an in-person thing? Like, what are you going to do to kind of get this back up? Because you really need to. Okay. The other saying, 1/3 saying is 1/3 are working, 1/3 are leaving, like leaving, and 1/3 are coming in. Now, for those people that aren't doing anything, there's still conversations to be had with those people. Like, hey, I just wanted to connect with you today because I noticed you haven't had any sales in the last couple of months. Could we talk about that? You can talk through text. You don't have to talk on the phone. So, or, is there anything I can do to help? So getting that relationship going, if you can practice anything as a leader, it's conversations, communication, and relationships. So you guys know by now that I thought it's gonna have her picture on it, but it doesn't. I love Kimberly Alexander. She's don't write her name down. Don't write her name down.
I'm not.
She used to be a coach, and she still is, but she is also part of a different direct sales company now. So I coached with her, and I won't coach with her again because it ended up kind of being like, hey, come join me kind of stuff now. But she has really great, she has some really great training. And just so you know, I use that training. So you're being trained by that. She doesn't have like a bunch of new stuff. This is what she says. And so she talks about gaps a lot. So she talks a lot about runners and sleepers and constantly figuring out who's a sleeper, who's a runner, who's moving to a runner, who wants to be a runner, who is now a sleeper. And so just constantly reorganizing that in your brain, and then also how to look for runners. So how can you find someone that would be a runner? A runner, I'm going to give you some characteristics of a runner. A runner is someone who figures it out on their own. So as you're looking for people that you could add to your team, you're looking for someone that will figure it out on their own. That's a runner. Okay, so you know the person. Jessica, I'm going to use you as an example because you know these people. These are the people that at church you can put them in a room with a bunch of kids and they'll just deal with it, right? You can hand them a Sunday school lesson on Saturday and they can do it for Sunday. You can call them up Sunday morning and be like, hey, we need this person in this spot. Can you do that? That's a person that is just someone who can pick something up. They're just good at that. Okay. You're also looking for someone that you can, that is using the product, right? We talk about, how do you know that you can be part of a company? I don't know if I've talked about this. This is another Kimberly Alexander thing. But she says there's 4 things that you're wrapping kind of your belief system around. So you can write these down if you want. And she says, do you love or believe in the product? So you guys have that with a ton of your VIPs. They love or believe in the product. They're like wearing it all the time. They are, talking about it to people at the grocery store. I had somebody tell me yesterday, where was I that we were talking about this? And she was like, oh, I sent somebody to your customer group because blah, 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 blah. I just love you. And I just believe in this product so much. Okay. So they believe in the product. They believe in the company. And we have a lot of people that are our customers because they believe in the company. Also, they believe in like the nail care products that we put out. They're the first ones to kind of jump on that. They're excited for you that you're earning a trip. Like that's believing in the company. Okay. Side note, are you talking about the company? Are you sharing things about the company to get people to believe in the company? And I'm going to tell you, you're not doing it enough. Okay. I'm going to tell you that right now. You're not sharing things about the company enough to kind of, initiate or get that belief in the company. And then the third thing is the compensation plan. Do you love or believe in the compensation plan? Now, how would somebody like a VIP know about the compensation plan, right? The only way would be for you guys to share that. And then the fourth thing is your team. Do you love and believe in your team? Now, out of those 4 things, you only need 2 of them to stick with something, okay? So let me know if you need me to repeat any of those. Or expand on those at all.
So when you're talking about sharing like belief in the company and compensation plan, well, I guess in team too, because those are probably the 3. Like in your IP, you're just talking with people, like, and you said we're not doing it enough. So like, where's the way to get that out there the best, I guess?
So there's 2 like for you guys, there's 2 places that you are keeping with. So like your team space, whatever that is, if that's a Facebook group or if it's a messenger thread or if it's nothing, right? Whatever that is, you're establishing belief in the company there. Okay. Then you're coming to your VIPs and you're talking about the company there. So you can talk about the company with Mr. Park's video, the history of Color Street. You can share that periodically. There's tons of different Color Street videos. And so when you do that, you're also wrapping around your own belief. So how do I believe in this company? For example, when they come out with a new line, we have a new line that's launching tomorrow. How do you share how awesome it is that they give us new products all the time? That's sharing your belief in the company. So your words put down that foundation of how you share your belief in the company.
And foundation, like I think the foundation strips is like a really great way to share about the company too.
Yeah, I would agree with you. That is, There was a question on our leader call today about if they could kind of expound on that a little bit more, so that new stylists, because the foundation was created early on. It was created in like 2018 or fall of 2018. And to get a foundation going, you need $1 million in the foundation. Okay. And so Mr. Park put $1 million into the foundation to get it moving. That's a really big deal to do in like a year. Okay. So, so this also works really, really well. This, do you love or believe in? And then those 4 things. It also works really well with someone that's like, I just don't know if I should do this anymore. I don't really know if this is working for me. I don't really know if this is a good fit for me. And so again, they need 2 of the 4 things to be able to promote, a business. And when you say your team, that can be Jessica's team. It can be, their team under you, which I don't even know if you have anybody that has anyone that's under them, but okay. But it can also come up, and like for Andrea, it could come up and be like our Glitter Girls team or our Team Wildflowers team. Do we have belief in that team, and that team is encouraging, loving, supportive, great communication there, all of those things that work to our benefit.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So, we're going to continue to talk about runners or sleepers. I'm really thinking that we're going to move into and just kind of close out our conversation about the gaps that we have. And the reason I wanted to sort of stay on that runners or sleepers like topic for a second is because one of our big gaps right now, actually as a company-wide, our gap is enrolling. Okay. And so there's a lot of reasons why our gap is enrolling. But we need really to establish, like, how would I determine that someone would be a runner, right? You don't really want to like enroll a bunch of sleepers. Am I right about that? They still add volume. So when someone wants to join that's maybe not going to do a whole ton, it's really okay. But you really are looking for someone that's a runner. So that's why we wanted to talk about that a little bit. And then, the gap, because it's a gap company-wide, it's going to be a gap everywhere. And so that is a gap that we have. All of us have. And so we need to really talk through that. You might have more gaps than enrolling as a team or as an individual, but that is the main gap right now as a company. And there are a lot of reasons for that. There can be a lot of reasons for it. And if you guys know why you have, that as a gap, you can share if you really want. I don't need you to, but if you want, you can.
I'm glad we're talking about this, because I was thinking I need another coaching. I'm just getting really frustrated that, I added like 3 people in 1 month, was in November or something, and then added a couple more, but now I haven't added anyone for a couple of months, and nobody on my team has added anyone. So that's like really frustrating for me. And I'm like, I want to build my team, but nobody is adding anyone. So
Yeah.
But I haven't added anyone since probably February either. So I'm not showing them that, I guess. But so yeah, it is definitely a gap that I put for myself and my team. And I don't know if I don't think some of them I think are interested. Like Nancy, I would say she wants to. I think Bethany kind of from the beginning, just like wasn't something she wanted to do, but now she's at least open to it. But she's going through a lot of personal health right now. So she's not stopping, which I'm glad. She had a really great party a couple weeks ago, but those are my top 2 people I think on my team that I could see doing great have someone underneath them.
Mm-hmm. I have a lot of things in my mind, so I'm just kind of sorting them out right now and processing through them. I would really love for us as a team to remember that the business that we are in, and I'm saying this in response to you, Jessica, but please don't take it that way, okay? I would love for us as a team and as a leader group to write a different story about the excuses that people have and the reasons why they don't do the things that they do, and ourselves. And I say that because I look back on my career in direct sales, and some of the times when I, how do I say it? Surprised myself, overcame so many things, were the hardest times in my life. And so this business actually is so much a part of busyness. It's so much a part of like things that we do. I was in the hospital and people were coming in, and I was selling jewelry when I was in the hospital. I couldn't even like lift up my arms, and I was still selling things. Like, I don't know if it was because I had such a great support system or what it was, but I killed my goal, and I was completely like out of commission for at least 6 weeks. That's more than a month, right? My month was in that 6 weeks that I really needed to like, hit my goal. And I want us to remember that this type of business is actually perfect for us being in a move, having a grad party, getting a new job, name all the things that all these people do. One of the first things I say is, you're so lucky you have Color Street. You're so lucky you have a business that can move through the things that you're doing. Like, you're going to a new place, and you get all sorts of new relationships. You are going to meet new people for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Like, you're going to have a whole new congregation. You're going to have a whole new neighborhood. You're going to have all these we're all going to be so jealous of you because you automatically have all the new people in your life. And
yeah,
yes,
as long as I can keep my old people, because they're already like, well, what am I going to do now that you're here? So you can still buy from me, and I have a lot of people that I sell to that I've never even met in person. So I do a lot of stuff online. So just to like connect with people and make sure that they know that's still an option. Because one of the girls like, yeah, well, I know I can buy from Kelly. And I'm like, well, I'd rather you buy from Sharon. Like, I'd rather you buy from the person under me instead of above me.
Yeah. That's even something, again, okay, so here we're talking about this. This is an obstacle. It's a story that we tell ourselves, right? And I'm not taking you and making you the only example on this whole call, but you're going through a whole bunch of stuff right now. So that is a story that we tell ourselves, like, oh my gosh, here I'm moving. I bring stuff to people all the time. I deliver all the things. I bring it to church, blah, 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 blah. And now no one's going to want to do that. Let's talk through that. What if you went through and messaged your people and said, you know what? I just wanted to let you know that I just so want to keep you as my customer. I'm going to offer you free shipping.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you did that, the conversations that you start, the business that you get, like all of the things, because you're going to want to do that one-on-one. You're not going to be like, hey,
right.
I want to let everybody in my VIP group know that if you normally get stuff from me and I usually bring it to you, I will totally give you free shipping. You can't say that.
Right.
So you're going to have to message those people and be like, hey, I just wanted to, and I want to make sure that I can take care of you.
Yeah. Yeah. And that thought's already crossed my mind. Just
yes. See, because you're a problem solver. You're a runner. You're a problem solver. You solve problems. Problems come up. This is in everyday life. This is in every business. This is in every job. A problem comes up. And what do? They don't just sit and stare at the problem and go, oh gosh, well, now I'm moving. I guess my business is going to fall apart. Guess no one's going to shop with me anymore. No, in a regular business, right? Because sometimes we put direct sales as like, oh, this isn't the same as anything else. It's totally different. This is just a different thing. What we need to do is go, okay, like a regular job, consider this to be a regular job and go, oh, okay, well, I'm going to solve that problem right now. Problem solved.
Yeah. And one of the girls who said it, she's like, well, you know, I'm not going to be able to, or what am I going to do now? And I said, well, you could just become a stylist.
Yes.
So like
there
just
you
starting
go.
to plant that. And she said, I don't have enough time. She did just have a baby.
So
but,
the best response
but
to that
just
is
planting. Yeah, just planting that seed, but go ahead.
the best response to that I have found is, well, how much time do you think this takes? And you can say to her tonight, if you have time, you can go, because you want to just do it while it's fresh, right? You can go, hey, Lisa, I just was thinking, I've been thinking about you a lot. And I've been thinking about, you know, that you said you didn't have a lot of time. And I was just wondering if you could, do you want to talk about like, how much time do you think it takes?
Yeah. And she is someone who's kind of shown a little bit of interest, but not ready to sign up. So on my list, but
yep.
But I did just have someone out of the blue message me today and said, tell me the business of Color Street. So that was a surprise and a good thing. And she lives in like Georgia or something. I've never met her before.
Awesome. Awesome. See, and we're just talking about, these are the gaps. This is why it's so important for us to be on this call, because when we talk about this, right? We hear like, because we're with ourselves all the time. And so when we're problem solving with ourselves, we're not always the best. Like, I called my husband today and I said, I need you to help me with a problem that I have. And I know the solution to the problem, but I just need someone to like hold me accountable and help me be righteous in this situation. And he was like, oh, great. Like, you're fun to work with, you know? And that's what this group is supposed to be about. I was in a group like this, it just ended Tuesday, just ended Tuesday. And yeah, I didn't get that. I did not get that, because the first couple calls people joined and then people died off and didn't join the calls, and we didn't have the camaraderie, you know, and we're having that in this group. I know it's busy. I get it. It's busy. Okay. I would like to say that I think there's a lot of overwhelm in our world with things. And that's one of the reasons why we're having the gap of enrolling, because I think everyone feels a bit overwhelmed in all of the things. And so if we can take that problem and start telling stories about that with people, whether it's in parties or groups or in person, you know, if someone's like, oh my gosh, I just feel so overwhelmed. I just feel like things are just like falling apart all over the place. Oh my gosh, I have felt that way too. And you know what? I found that since I have my Color Street business, right? I have my Color Street business, I do find that I have some constant. I do have a constant. And I love that. It just kind of keeps me on my toes, right? So, you know, if you're watching the replay and you have a comment or something that you can say that will help us to really wrap and deal with this gap. And I love it that at this point, all of us are dealing with this gap. Isn't that special? That we aren't like, we've kind of got our sales are okay, right? Our sales are there. You know, we've got kind of our own business. We know what to do when we have a launch. We know what to do. A lot of us are real seasoned, where we know what to do with our VIP groups. I feel like parties is another gap, and we can deal with that. But a gap that we're really, really having is enrolling. And we're going to take the next couple of weeks, times that we're doing this, and we're going to really tackle this gap. So what I would like you to do as we close this up is I would like you to really think about the stories that you tell yourself about enrolling. How do you talk to yourself about enrolling? How do you tell yourself who you are as an enroller? Are you a really good enroller to yourself? And I think about this with a lot of different things. And there's a lot of examples that I can share with you, but I mean, we talk about this a lot at our house, you know, like, you're a really good friend. You know, we've had a lot of conversations, even like my daughter with, you know, she doesn't really feel like she has a lot of friends. And I'm like, well, just so you know, you're a really good friend. You're a really good person and people do like you. So even if you feel like you don't have a lot of friends, it's not because of you, because you're a good friend. You're very caring. You're very compassionate. You love others. You include people. So, you know, how do we talk to ourselves about enrolling? You know, and then do our patterns match up with how we talk to ourselves? Because I'm going to pretty much bet they do. I'm going to bet that you've told yourself that you're not a very good recruiter. I'm just not a recruiter. You could even say that. I'm not a recruiter. I don't recruit well. And guess what happens when you tell yourself something like that? It happens, right?
Right.
You tell yourself, I'm not a good recruiter, or I'm just not a recruiter. And then here you are, living the dream of not being a recruiter, not enrolling anyone, not ever. And then you're not. So then it skirts into like, I don't talk about the business. I don't share my story. I don't. And it just, you know, you're right here on the mountaintop, like, I'm not a recruiter. And you're like so confident in yourself and how you're not a recruiter. And then just sort of snowballs into this big, huge, like non-recruiting machine, right? You're such a bad recruiter that now you've made yourself into this, like, I don't even share the business. I don't even talk about it because I'm so scared of myself. And I've told myself so many times that I suck at this, right? That I'd be surprised if you ever talk to anybody about it. And that's what's happened. So I really, really want you to, your homework is to write that story. So as you have for sure 2 weeks, I got to really think about what we're going to do on the 5th. So we'll talk about that in the group. I'd hate for us to go a whole month. I really would hate for us to go a whole month because I think that's a really crucial month. But I'd love to hear what you've said to yourself about being a recruiter. Okay. And then we are going to talk through, and you can do this if you want, but no, you don't have to. We can do it in the call or in the group. Well, like I said, we'll figure that out. We're going to talk about how we can change that story and what that looks like. And you may look at yourself even like tonight, if you have time, or tomorrow or whatever, and you may write these things out and you might be like, I am changing this story. This is ridiculous. I can't believe I've talked to myself like this for so long. That's what you might do. It's like a kindergartner or first grader being like, I can't read. And you would never be like, you're never going to read. You're never reading. So don't think about it. Put all the books away because you're not ever going to be reading. I mean, that's like so absurd, right? Or like telling a toddler, you're terrible at walking. You're never going to walk. Like, don't know what you're thinking. But see how ridiculous that is? And that's what we're doing. So any questions or comments before we wrap this up and close this out?
I'm really excited about working on this, enrolling, and I also hope that we don't go a month without meeting. So
yeah, I do too. I got to figure that out. I actually think I could do the 5th. I think I'll be home the 5th. That's the Tuesday after. I know I will not be available the 6th or 7th to do any sort of a call. So,
Is the third an option? Is that, what is that?
not really. It's really not.
Okay.
The third is what, Sunday?
Yeah.
Emily, to back up, I
Yeah.
missed when you were talking about how the company works in thirds, and you said
Yep.
a third get it, a third get it, a third get by, and what was the last third on that one?
1/3 don't get it.
Don't get it. Okay.
Sorry for all the door slamming. We're door slammers here at our house.
As it should be. Okay, that was all I had.
The other thing that I love that goes right along with that is you are not liable. The leader sets the pace, but you are not liable. What does liable mean? It means responsible, right? You are not liable for your team's success. You are just responsible to show up. And my kid just didn't slam the door. Yes. You are responsible to show up for your team. You are not liable for them. So you're responsible to show up. You are not liable for their success. So don't ever tell yourself a story that was like, you know, if I just would have fill in the blank, done a starter party, onboarded her better, whatever, all of the things, you are not responsible for that. Because guess what? I absolutely, totally, and completely love Barb. She was not responsible for my success. She showed up for me. That was it. I went to her when I had questions. I found trainings. I found graphics groups. I found NAILFE groups. It was very different times when I started. The company had 0 training videos, nothing, no app, nothing. There was nothing. There were a few YouTube videos on how to apply. We just figured it out. So you're responsible to show up. She showed up for me in so many ways. She was there when I needed to complain. She was there when he had a problem. She was there for me. She didn't do it for me.
Right.
And we're never going to be held responsible for doing it for someone else. So 1/3 get it. That's you guys. You get it. 1/3 get by. Those are a lot of our teams, right? They're just getting by, and we're going to come alongside them and we're going to show up for them. The 1/3 just don't get it. And a lot of times we're still showing up for them. That's it though. We are not responsible for how they perform, what they do, anything else. I will do a little bit of spinning and thinking about what we're going to do for our July 5th thing. I am wondering if, and I will say this to the group as a whole, you can message me privately if you would like to be part of this. I am going to be out of town for a couple of weeks, in and out. I've got lots of things going on at the beginning of July. And I am looking for some people who have an idea to share, like a sales idea or a party idea or something like that. You can do it in a post in the Glitter Girls group. You can give it to me and I will schedule the post. You can make a little video if you want. You can go live in the group, but I would love to have some popcorn of ideas or like days. And I'm going to give you your choice. So I'm gone like kind of in and out the first couple weeks of July. I'm available a lot of that, but I'm sort of gone. The second week of July, I'm gone with my family on vacation. So anyway, if there's 1 or 2 times that you could just show up, and I'm saying show up in like 5 minutes or less, if it's a live video, quick post, excuse me. It would just be fun to like have people see you guys and your faces and just to have something to share. So maybe you don't have anything to share, but maybe you could think of something that you could share, right? Put yourself out there, give yourself a little goal, give yourself something to kind of reach for. And and you could say, you know what, I will come up with something for July 7th and July 14th or something like that. I don't know how many of us are in this group, 12 maybe. So even if everybody just took like one day and did something, a little tiny thing each day that I'm gone, that would be awesome. So I'm gone like July 1st through the 15th. But like I said, I'm around. So it's not like, I thought it'd be kind of fun. We could do level up represents. Well, thank you to the two of you for being on. Thank you, Jessica, for letting me pick on you a little bit. I think I picked on you too, Andrea, a little, but I appreciate you guys. And for those of you that have watched the recording, it's been a whole almost, 50 some minutes. So I will get that out to you guys tonight. I'm trying to record this a little differently. I'm recording it to my computer instead of on the cloud so I can upload it on YouTube. So we'll just try this. Yeah. So I'm going to go call Zach. If you know, you know. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon.
All right.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
Bye. See you guys.
Bye.